within the CREACT4MED annual conference on creative economies, strategies for job creation in arts and culture. I'm Yeganeh Forouheshfar. I'm a senior researcher at the Mediterranean Economists Association, and I'm very glad to moderate this session. And I was in charge of the mapping activity within the CREACT4MED project, and I've also talked about our what we have published and the different outcomes of the mapping in the previous sessions. And it's an honor to have these amazing speakers to talk about different challenges jobs workers in culture and creative industries face in the region. So let me start by highlighting a bit the background of the situation. From the morning we heard about the importance of culture and creative economies beyond economic contribution. It was highlighted that these industries also contribute to the well-being of the societies, national cohesion, peace also, and even health of the people, brain health as well, and psychological health. So these sectors are very critical for us to develop. And meanwhile, creative workers face some specific challenges, and these challenges may not be specific to the region, but some of them are actually more harsh in the region. For instance, most of these workers are self-employed with short-term contracts, and usually they don't have access to social safety nets. And what we observed with the rise of the global pandemic, we had this awareness about the importance of provision of social safety net to all. And there has been some efforts to create social safety nets for independent workers or artists in some of the countries in the region, but not everywhere. And in our countries, actually, the social safety net is not accessible to all, and it's a real problem. And that contributes to these jobs becoming very precarious nature, and also that contributes to the public view of creative jobs as not being a viable career path. So sometimes parents don't want their children to pursue a career in those jobs, and sometimes people have two jobs, one to maintain their needs, and the other one as to satisfy their passion, and they work in the cultural and creative fields. So that needs to be changed, and that we need to provide good job opportunities for the artists, for the creative workers, um, as I said, because these sectors are so important for us. And we also heard in the morning session about the freedom of expression as a driving force for artistic content creation. And sometimes in the region, we don't see that freedom of expression as we want to have it. Also, weak intellectual property framework is one of the main situations contributing to these jobs not being very profitable. And some other factors hinder the preservation of jobs um, in these fields in our target countries. So in this session, I would like to invite, we are going to have three distinguished speakers, two creative entrepreneurs with in-hand experience from the ground, Ms. Rola Fayyad and Mr. Ahmed Amine Azouzi. And also we're going to hear the opinion of Mr. Ahmed ELFARRA, who is the UNIDO head of office in Palestine, and who is going to share with us the international institutions perspective, and also he has a lot of experience at the national level as well. So let's start. I'm going to present one by one the speakers, and let's have your opinion on the main characteristics of jobs in the creative field. From first of all, from Rola's perspective, you are a founder and CEO of ViaVii, and you have over a decade of commercial management experience in the travel industry. So ViaVii is an AI powered and one of the top innovative startups in the Gulf region. You have also co-founded other startups like MyKit, which is an event booking engine for the Middle East and North Africa. And you are a founding member of Girls in Tech, Jordan. And you have also this focus on empowering and engaging, educating women in the technology sector. So Rola, the floor is yours. Please tell us more about your personal experience, the work you had in your enterprise, and we are all ears to hear your experience from the ground. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, ladies and gentlemen who are with us. So I'll very quickly share about ViaVii and what exactly we've been doing in the industry that reflects on, let's say, cultural tourism and creating jobs in the experiential travel market. So I'll go very quick on that. ViaVii, as you mentioned, we are a platform that basically digitizes tourism.
Rola, you should just accept the presenter view. We can see your screen, but not.
Okay, 1 second. Technology we're talking about, and it still affects us every time we're on the internet. You can see this?
Yes.
All good?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just going to
I think it's better.
Everyone can see that, right?
No, this is not actually good. You should have gone to full screen, because once you go to presenter's view, it's not very nice.
Okay. Okay, just let's do it this way. Is it fine? Everyone can see it, right?
Just share your screen.
It was literally working a second ago. I'm just gonna keep it this way if everyone can see.
Yes. And if you can.
Yeah, I don't need to. It's fine. You can see all these funny icons with us. 100 people on this presentation for some reason. So yeah, as you mentioned, ViaVii has really worked on creating cultural experiences and supporting local hosts in marginalized areas all over the Middle East by taking their talent, creating jobs out of it through technology. As an example, here are a few countries we're operating in. Noting Jordan, Saudi, Qatar, and of course we operate in countries like the occupied Palestine, Morocco, and Asia. We have recently even won the UNWTO award on this because we've really worked very hard in this region. So you mentioned that before, emerging trends and technologies. How is tourism changing in the Middle East? Before, a disaster would be a natural disaster. Now it's a human disaster or a pandemic or whatnot. And this has affected jobs, wellness, social input, and more than that. So ViaVii, a snapshot how we are integrating technologies and looking at trends is we have an impact program where we have trained over 1,000 local hosts all over the region through digital solutions, training solutions to be online. Because we have a belief, if you don't sell online, you are not part of this new era of technology. We have a SaaS product, which basically digitizes people who are ready to sell on Expedia, Get Your Guide and whatnot. And we have a marketplace for less tech savvy, hosts and really, really marginalized groups that need our support in content creation and more. Why is ViaVii really focusing? Governments want to basically get everyone digitized, commercialized onto the internet. However, there's an institutional void because culturally and in the Middle East, the behavior shifted once all of this data, but the people are not ready. So how is ViaVii supporting governments in actually maximizing sustainable tourism? And by saying this, I'm talking about creating jobs, increasing the GDP, increasing the tourism receipts of countries and more. Basically, we've identified barriers that we have seen in local communities, whether it's the fear of unexpected negative input, lack of capital, whatnot. We remove it by creating a more community-based tourism model that actually showed increases jobs by 30%, increases direct beneficiaries by 20%, indirect by at least 200%. So you're talking about a big bubble that we really want to work on. We expanded by increasing the linkages. As I mentioned, we need to focus on indirect beneficiaries, local communities, government, stakeholders, NGOs. We try to minimize the leakage. Unfortunately, till today, for every $100 you pay when you travel to, let's say, developing countries, only $5 to $7 goes back to the communities. And this is why they are migrating, and the whole economic structure of these communities are broken down. And basically how we do it, as I mentioned, is we really focus on the educational empowerment for the cultural exchange that that community needs. And we try to fill in the gap of the skills in order to create more powered workforce in the next decade. And we do it by giving them knowledge that they could not have had, and then we focus on them transferring this knowledge with each other. And the reason is, this is culture, and cultural exchange is vital for these communities. And of course, outcomes are very simple, as the talk is all about. I'm sorry. We want to leverage cultural tourism for job creation and economic development. And now we're going to talk about a few, success stories. I'm going to look at Saudi Arabia, because we've all seen it all over the internet. Saudi has been booming in tourism. So ViaVii, with a very small percentage, jumped into that country. And we've had enough experiences done. But I want to give you the case studies. Abdullah was a host that actually had great tours, but he was not able to reach an online booking engine. Once we digitized him, literally gave him the right training, the right tools to be online, he managed to sell 30% more, reaching around $52,000 of revenue. This is a local host I'm talking about. So I'm sure everyone understands what $52,000 does in a community. This is not a big travel agency, right? Another thing in Ta'if, which is another location in Saudi Arabia, Ahmed had problems or challenges reaching new channels. So what digitization or technology did at this stage is we managed to actually create better content for him, reach out to new customers through different various channels. And he has made around $7,000 extra because he went online. And this, of course, goes to other hosts that we can talk about that need engagement, that need creative content. And another example is when we worked with FIFA Qatar 2022, our job was to create digital content to link a local to the cultural world through commercialization, through online tools. And successfully, we managed to create 100 new experiences served for the World Cup. I'll keep it at that for us. Basically, this is what ViaVii is doing. We're really working with governments, NGOs, communities, stakeholders to create an ecosystem that, whether we like it or not, has still not been built in the Middle East region to date. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rola. This was very inspiring, and I really love this message that in order to build an enabling environment, we need to bring together different stakeholders at different levels, and that makes a real change. Thank you so much for sharing your experience. Let's move on to Ahmed Amin Azouzi. So you are a managing director of Pencil Consulting, a company founded in 2017. And you're specialized in media and creative industries strategy and transformation. You're also a CEO of media production company called Kalam. And you have worked in international consulting firms, and also and you have launched even in 2019 Pathis Tunisia Cinema. So you're very well equipped to tell us more about the hurdles and the challenges you have faced from the ground in the case of media industry. You have also been an advisor to the Tunisian Minister of Culture and Creative Economy, and we are looking very much forward to your intervention to share your experience. Please, Ahmed, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Yeganeh. I'm very sorry about all the noise around me. I hope you hear me well. Yes, exactly. As I have the opportunity to help some cultural organization and creative organizations in their strategies, and also management. And when we say management, it's basically all about people and how people interact. and how we hire people and how people work actually with these companies or institutions or within the institutions. Additionally, with my production company, I have myself also to work with these people and with these talents on a daily basis. One of the things that I always see and I always noticed, whatever the country is or whatever the region, is that uh, dealing with freelancers and independent workers in the creative industry, this is something absolutely normal. This is something that any country in the world will deal with. Either the company wants it, or even the talent him or herself wants, because it's about creativity fulfillment. It's about economic opportunities, and this is somehow how this economy, these industries work. But this is not enough. Not, saying that this is how it works is absolutely not enough. We as ecosystems, maybe this is something that I should ask our governments, is to set up all the mechanisms that will protect these talents in order to make them work properly in that ecosystem. For example, this is something that we mentioned earlier during this session. There's all these social security matters that are not fulfilled in every country that I had the opportunity to work in. For example, in Tunisia, this is where I work. Uh, Obviously, there are laws and there are theoretical, I would say, mechanisms that would protect the talents, whether they are in the cinema industry, music industry, whatever the industry is, or the creative industry. However, it's not on the field. This is not something that really happens. Because of the institutions themselves. Sometimes it's something that bothers them because the process is very complicated with the administration, because it's very complicated to set up between the talent and the company or the institution itself. It's a lot of paperwork, a lot of hassle. It sometimes it costs money because you have to pay social security for the talent themselves. So this is not something that happens. And sometimes the talent themselves don't like to go through all these processes. So this makes us in a situation where in the region where I work, unfortunately, a lot of talents don't have the social security. They are not aware themselves about the social security that they have to pay for it. And sometimes institutions will take the opportunity to not set up all of these because it's a lot of hassle. This is something that I experienced myself. As the head of a production company, sometimes I have to hire, I don't know, a DOP, an editor, a motion designer, and from my end, I always try to make this social security thing happen the way it should happen. However, uh, the paperwork is very complicated. I figured out a way to put it, to set it up in my production company, and sometimes the talent themselves ask, oh, this is too complicated. I don't want to go through this process because it's too complicated. I don't want to go and deal with it. This is a problem. This is a problem, an overall problem. It's an awareness problem, first of all, and second, it's the process should be as simple as it can be in order to make this happen and to protect all the talents. And I would like to add something else regarding hiring talents and working with them in the creative ecosystem. Um, there's also something that we will probably discuss later. It's all about the capacity building. Things change a lot very quickly today, whether either it's technology, for technological reasons, for market reasons, and all these talents today have to level up when it comes to their skills, level up when it comes to their capacities, and this costs money and costs time. And this time they want when they want to set up new skills and learn new things, it's sometime they won't spend in a company or working with someone and make money out of it. So we definitely, to wrap up, we definitely have to think again the way how to interact as institutions with talents, also talents how they interact and how they should, I would say, protect themselves in this very changing world. And finally, and most importantly, setting up all the policies, all the laws, government on the governmental level, in order to be sure that these jobs and these talents that are making some of the most thriving and the most inspiring economies, that is the creative economy to tomorrow, that uh, the basic, the very basic and the very the most important part of this economy is the talents that makes it, the talents that will design, that the talents that will draw, make music, etc. If these people are not protected, if these people are not living properly, this whole economy won't continue existing and is threatened by design.
Thank you so much for these interesting and important points about creating a safe environment, a safe work environment for the talents in the creative sectors, and the role of the governments to create awareness, first of all, and also to reduce the red tape and bureaucracy hurdles in order to provide security and access to social safety nets for these uh, amazing workers. Otherwise, I mean, we also face this problem of brain drain and people willing to go outside, and that can be also tackled. So let's move to our next distinguished speaker, Mr. Ahmed ELFARRA. You are a UNIDO head of office in Palestine since 2014. You have over 23 years of operational and leadership experience of international and national organizations. You have also experience at the governmental level with formulating the final e-government strategy in Palestine that was endorsed in 2006. You were also senior economic advisors with the ILO regional office in Beirut, and operated as chief representative of to the agreement of movement and access between Israel and Palestine, and also a founder of Palinvest corporations. You have multiple areas of expertise and experience, and I'm very eager to hear your opinion about that. What would be the role of international organizations and also national authorities in order to be an advocate of secure and these decent jobs in the creative fields in the region? Thank you, Ahmed. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I think this is an important opportunity to look at this from a regional perspective, international perspective, but more also importantly, on a country level perspective. The buzzwords I've been hearing from the colleagues Rola and Ahmed and your introduction has really highlighted a couple of important challenges to how we can get the CCI into the scene. But before we get there, I'd like to talk about a couple of experiences that we have been able to actually craft over the years, and starting from 2014, UNIDO together with the EU, European Union, and with ICE, Italy, we've started a regional program that is called Creative Mediterranean. Under Creative Mediterranean, there were a set of tools, a set of capacity development activities, a set of networking activities, hardware, software, people skills, design, graphics, market development activities were all blended together and were done on a regional perspective. Based on Creative Mediterranean, we had the opportunity to work in 7 countries. There were creative Egypt, creative Tunisia, creative Jordan, creative Palestine, creative Morocco, creative. So each had their own set of I would say vertical interventions, but then everybody was working together over the horizontal, basically the wider set of interventions. Now, the bottom line for our region here is job creation, right? And it needs to be decent job creation. So the idea was to empower youth and women to actually engage in a sector that is very wealthy here in Palestine, meaning um, the idea is that uh, the region is very wealthy with cultural heritage. When we're talking about the Mediterranean, actually, north and south. So working south to south was an important, it's not a buzzword, it's an important requirement for our success. Same to north to south is a requirement for the success. But why that is basically because this is a seasonal, normally these are seasonal sectors, normally these are seasonal products. So we need to create different seasonal market opportunities, and we need to create the continuity. One of the challenges that we face, and it doesn't make it appealing, as I've heard it in your introduction, I believe, is the fact that it's not appealing to youth. Why would I work only for the Christmas season, for example, or Christmas and Easter only, or if it's only for Eid, or if it's only for one of the occasions, and then I need to create a lot of money in that season to be able to sustain myself for the rest of the year as a youngster. So the idea was to definitely use the South as the source of the creative sense of the using the culture, using the craftsmanship, and looking at the north of the Mediterranean as a potential market and a potential fusions that can be created between the two. So I would say that we have succeeded, and there are so many success stories created over the 7 countries as part of Creative Mediterranean to create products that are lasting till today's and are improving till today and continue to have markets that are demanding them. This is really important. In Tunisia, we see after Creative Mediterranean, Creative Tunisia, there is an expansion of cluster development and creative industries being working together in different regions in Tunisia right now. And it's growing, and markets are very well proven to actually be there and growing for this sector. So you're creating a new demand, a new type of jobs. The other examples, Creative Jordan is actually expanding also in terms of textile, and Joe, a brand that was created under this. Looking very closely at the national level, we've worked on 5 clusters here in Palestine. We've worked on furniture in Nablus, in textile in Jenin, and textile in Gaza, handcrafts, Bethlehem treasures in Bethlehem, and also Libra, the shoe cluster in Hebron. The idea is that you don't only start to work with a cluster. The idea is that after you work on it, it grows on itself. It's able to take off. But how could it take off is by actually putting several ingredients all together. And this is where I think the buzzword comes, the different stakeholders, the players that are on board, whether it's government, whether it's academia, whether it's market, whether it's industry, they all need to play together. The ecosystem is a key player to make this grow. Creating jobs is something that is very challenging, but with situations that we're looking at right now, normally cultural creative industries are tourism related industries. With the situation being unstable in the region, we see very much decline in tourism. So what are our alternative markets? Oh, welcome digitalization, welcome AI, welcome online presence and marketplace. So we do need to, it needs to be dynamic, and this is exactly what we have managed to make. One other stress I'd like to make, and it's a challenge I've seen in the preparation of the sessions. Copyright is a big issue that we faced in several countries. You know, coming up with an idea, with an inspiration, and with a design is really not an easy process. The creative personas know exactly what it takes to come up with a new product, a new design, a unique identity, something that is very appealing and matching the demand in the market or with the targeted niche in the market. The protection of that is very difficult in the current age. In the case where we've worked with creative designers, we said your ability to create much and more creative designs is your protection. So by the time you have a new design, you get it into market and production, you are the first in the market. Others will take time to follow, right? By the time they follow and start copying you, you will have a new product in the market. So the idea is that you keep advancing yourself and trying to lead the product design. Now, from a perspective of policy, this requires a lot in terms to enable the job creation. This requires structures. This requires incentives. This requires, I would say, linkages and agreements that would provide the market. By the way, why would creative, if you are not producing for markets, then you are an artist and that's it. And then you are making a gallery or you're making an exhibition, and then eventually you'll sell it. Your purpose is not to sell. Your purpose is to expose your art, right? But if you are producing to sell, then you need to link it to the market. So if we don't have markets, this sector cannot grow. The idea is to start from the market and really close the circle with the market. So governments need to work on several factors. The capacity development is one area, the relation between the different ecosystem. We need to connect the culture, the heritage, the creativity, the industry, and take it all the way to technology. So the idea is really to have this mesh of elements, I would say, that would get us to understand who would do what and what exactly would be the role of everyone so that we are able to grow opportunities for decent jobs. I really would insist that cost is an issue for these artisans. You know, some of the institutions, some of the countries, some of the I would say producers are suffering from high cost of production. Costing is something that we also need to consider from the perspective of market, because you need to be competitive. It's not enough to have a product that is brilliant and people needs it, yet it's expensive and they can't replace it with any alternative. Like you need a souvenir, and you can take a picture as a souvenir because it's less expensive. But if you really need a valuable souvenir, then you need to be able to afford it. And then the budget levels are different from one buyer to the other. The bottom line, again, I'm sorry, maybe taking time longer than what I need to do. But the bottom line is that we need to connect it from market to market, demand to production, back to the market in terms of sales. And cost is a factor, protection is a factor, networks is a factor, enabling environment in terms of government capacities, government facilities, even Fab Lab networks. You know, it's been trendy now. We see Fab Lab networks everywhere. In universities, there are fabrication labs. In private fabrication labs are also, I think, it is becoming more trendy. The idea now is you cannot have one Fab Lab that answers to all artisans. This is part of the infrastructure that needs to be available. Not every artisan is able to build a website. Networking all these resources and creating a cloud of I would say easy reach is something I think we need to do, because it's beyond one country. Most of these services can be done across the different countries, and it needs to be available for everyone who has the talent to make a new product. I'll stop here for now. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this inspiring speech, and also the sharing the success story of Creative Med training program. It was very interesting to hear those necessary steps and what is required to build regarding the infrastructure, and also the market-oriented approach you've talked about. I think it's one of the important key messages that we need to bear in mind, and the focus on the cost as well, having realistic products that correspond to the market's needs, and the importance of collaborating among different regions. Um, Also, I want to come to another point about digitalization. I think I have the echo of myself on your end. Yes,
Yes.
thank you. As you all know, we have this rapid digitalization, especially happening after the COVID-19 pandemic, and that's reshaping different industries, including creative industries. You have heard about Rola's experience about in actually equipping entrepreneurs with digital tools and leading to great success stories. So it is bringing a lot of opportunities to the creative workers, but also it creates an issue of the digital divide that needs to be addressed if we are going to face more inequalities in the region and outside between different countries. If people do not have access the same digital tools or skills, and there are different rising issues. And my question to you is that, um, and even right now we are seeing a surge in the use of AI, opening new avenues in many businesses, of course, and in particular creative businesses. And in your opinion, what would be the role of digital economy in shaping the new CCI? And what are the main implications for the jobs created in digital CCI network? So I would like to start again with Ahmed Farah, sorry, Ahmed Farah, to have your opinion from an international experience, because I also know that you have to leave at in a few minutes, and then we go back to Rola's and also Ahmed Azouzi's experience. So Ahmed, please.
All right, thank you very much. Listen, this is exactly the age of technology. This is where we have the Gen Z and the new generations already going into immediately to their mobiles to get any type of information, any type of feedback, any type of even insights. AI tools has been available, and we've seen them growing. They're getting into different fields of even design. So the uniqueness of being the talent is now challenged. It could be used as a part of transformation into a new era of design, or it can help us to try to really provide a unique identity to the products being developed. That's from the design perspective. From the market perspective, the online channels are growing with different pressing points. As the colleagues mentioned, the decline in the tourism market, the political situation impact, and the fact that people would like to have access to these products even beyond their physical experience. Sometimes it's a collection that they can create. but we need to create more of um, a sustainable market for these products. So infusion between and using the digital network to get the markets to link between the different countries, building a chain of production, but also a change of demand is something that only technology will allow. But yet we do need to allow it to have the proper logistic network. So it's not enough that I have my product on the website. I need to be able to have the capacities, these infrastructures to actually carry these products in a warehouse and in somewhere where I can actually ship it and have it moving flexibly, I would say, for and within the digital economy in order to sustain the jobs created. Has been always an opportunity. It is growing. The understanding of this opportunity is expanding at the younger generations, but also at corporates. We have seen transformation acts already taking place. I'm sure we all are aware of the case of Nokia. Remember Nokia? Nokia was a brilliant company. I think we all had Nokias at some point, but disappearing is one of the good examples of what you need to do in order to keep up with the market. Same for creative industries and digitalization. Because again, NFTs now, let me throw this. NFTs, the fact that you could trade an image and work on it and create wealth with just images is a different challenging point for the CCI. So I believe that we do need to collaborate collectively and maybe a small recommendation, let's listen to the younger generations who are parts of the CCI. For example, I'll tell you in Creative Med, and maybe the case of Palestine, since it was very close here to me. When we targeted training sessions, trainees to be targeted for our trainings, 90%, 80% at the worst case were women, were younger women that were wanting to get into this sector, wanting to get into this market. So maybe we should target the younger generation and really see what would make it a business startup they can do. In cases under Creative Mediterranean, I know that we've provided the training, the skills, access to specialized fab labs. In the textile engineering, we had the creative fashion design, Khitan Creative Fashion Design Center. We had in Gaza, Khitan Fashion Design Center. After the training and the project and the intervention, there was an asset, a setup that was put in place. Most of these trainees became excellent designers, even more, and they created their own brands and they created their own websites and Instagram pages where we see them selling till today. So maybe that's the direction where we need to go, and then link them all to real markets. The linkages, whether it is on local level or regional level, even in the exchange, I would say, of ideas, even of growing networks. You could, meaning, I could sell in your country, I could present you sell in my country. So that's where we do have to work with technology and use the age of digitalization to grow this market. Thank you.
Thank you so much about your opinion and sharing this, that we need to go for this opportunity and we need to make the right investment to make it happen. I would like to also give the floor next to Ahmed Azouzi to have your opinion about this digitalization and the opportunities they're bringing to entrepreneurs.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Rola, for letting me speak before you. Um, it's an extremely important topic since, as I probably mentioned before, this is something that is very changing, and capacity building and skills upscaling and for any talent today is very important since things change extremely fast. It's probably too fast, and that is why even if I may have an opinion today, that my opinion may change in like 3 months because new technologies will emerge, new ways of things, new ways of consumption by the people, by the market will appear in very few weeks and very few months. Probably I will focus more on artificial intelligence because this is something that is emerging and becoming somehow normal today because for for many years we discussed platforms. For many years we discussed the importance of giving digital tools to talents, to creative workers in order to promote their work, to do faster their work, etc., etc. But this is the first time with AI that even the creative process itself is disrupted by digital. Before it wasn't the case. With production, distribution, anything else, but never the creative process itself. This is something really new, and this is something that we will all of us discover in the next few years to see, even months, to see how it will disrupt the way all of us are working in the creative field. So, and this is something that we should also look at as um, workers, creative workers, but also institutions, companies, and government, because many creative talents will have to face something that is new, that is coming, that sometimes do work way faster than they do, never in the same quality, I would say, but in a very new way and disruptive way. I will give you an example. In my production company, I'm seeing generative AI, specifically image generative AI, that will take literally 10 seconds to create a YouTube thumbnail when we spend half a day with the graphic designer trying to find something to come up with an idea and craft it for 3 hours on Photoshop. This absolutely changed everything. Even the role of the graphic designer that is working at my production company is changing. His role is not making the craft himself by himself on Photoshop, but finding creative ways, a creative prompt to create that thumbnail in like 10 seconds and or I would say maximum 10 minutes in order to craft that. This will definitely change the needs of companies and institutions in creative work, their expectations, because when a company and institution sees that you can provide an image, you can come up with an idea, you can write a script in 10 seconds or 10 minutes, rather than having that in 3 weeks, they would definitely ask themselves, how, what should I do? How should I hire or not? Is that relevant or not? Are my needs and expectations met by normal human beings? I would say yes. This is another debate. I believe that human creativity will always surpass and be better than AI creativity. However, this is something economically speaking and management wise will be asked by anyone, and anyone will, any institution, and this will come up. This is so we have to think about protecting workers, human workers that today work in this creative field, see how this will impact the way our productivity, the market's expectations, people's expectations. As Ahmed said today, people are expecting a certain level of content when the Gen Z will connect on their phone to see or watch or listen to music or watch videos on the mobile on platforms like such as TikTok. These expectations, are they met by the creative workers, the creative institutions that exist today or not. So these are extremely important questions that should be addressed by all the levels of this economy, of the sectors we work in, from the worker himself, the individual, to the institution and government and the state, because things will change and they will definitely change fast. Um, so this is what I can say regarding this specific topic in digitalization, specifically the AI.
Thank you so much. I think you highlighted a very important point about these new technological breakthroughs that make previous or current way of doing business obsolete. And if we want to carry on to keep our businesses, we need to upgrade our skills. We need to adapt to the new ways of doing business and this new technology. Otherwise, we may end up in the example of Nokia being like a market dominant to basically someone out of the market. So I think this completes also the example we've heard before. Um, and so and Rola, you mentioned in the chat that governments must prioritize investments in areas where this significant gap exists. And I think rather than setting ambitious KPIs that are unattainable without public-private partnership. And I can't agree more. I think it's a very important point you highlighted, and it's very true in the case of new technologies and adoption of new digital tools that are changing very rapidly how we contribute to our economies. So I would also like to hear your thoughts and also your experience, because your company is also AI driven, and I think you have a lot to share with us about your experience, please, and how the
Sure, I'll go very quickly.
yes.
Yeah, I always, I think I'm the one who lobbies governments the most, that they get scared now when I email them. They're like, oh crap, ViaVii's here. And that's happening in North Africa at this stage, yes. So in a very simple way, and Ahmed, thank you very much for mentioning advanced technologies. When you look at the Middle East region, we compete with people like Airbnb, Expedia, TripAdvisor, whatnot. Those companies have a rule. If you are not tech savvy, if you cannot have the right content, if you don't have everything ready, we don't want you on our platform. So we end up with the 85-90% of people who are not, I'm not going to say good enough, but are not tech savvy enough, like, the Westerns. And this is the gap that we saw. We had two options: either say we're going to be like Airbnb, you have to be the best of the best, or we actually work with NGOs and governments to make them the best of the best. At the end of the day, these generations, the new Gen Z, Gen A, Gen God knows what, the TikTok generation, there's a huge gap between them and what we have now, guys. There's like a decade gone in the middle, I swear. And I feel like my mother when I used to, tell her, Mom, it's just a mobile app. Now I feel the same when these kids talk to me. So we want to ensure that, in order to digitally transform businesses, we must keep them, and we must respect their culture aspect, their current aspect, and we should not enforce it. This is what governments try to do. You're either online or you're not. There is no enforcement in local communities. It should not be permitted. And number two, in order to succeed, and Mr. Ahmed Al-Farra spoke about it in Palestine, there is no framework for tourism. A local curator has no capacity in the government. You are not a tour guide. You are not a travel agency. You are not permitted to work. But then how are you putting a KPI of creating 100 million jobs? What do we do? Shall we pay 50,000 and become a travel agency? No. Must we go become a tour guide? No. So there is a gap, and this is which I really wish governments work on this. And I know they are. I've seen it. I know Allah, they're doing a great job. I cannot blame. I'm not a government, so I cannot blame them or put myself in their shoes. But we must identify the institutional voids. We must study Uber and Careem. How did Uber enter the market and Careem? It was illegal for at least 5 years until it became legal. We must study this and then replicate it on other businesses, whether fintech, artisans, cultural, and whatnot. And that's the theory of change we have. If home businesses have the right framework, if governments have the right directions with the tourism industry, see if they are trained and empowered for the next decade, equals an ecosystem that can be built, more tourism receipts, and a better cultural exchange, or whatever you want to call it. And just to and I'm done with my side. Tariq Tamimi, just to mention, yeah, back to that, which is job creators. How can we have a tangible? So there's always a framework, but you can never have the right output. Like in my case, I can say we have direct jobs, so that's 20%. Then we have direct beneficiaries, that's around 30%, and then we have 20% of indirect, and there's 30% missing, because even if you want to create jobs and you train people, not all of them commit, not all of them continue in this journey, and we must respect some of them fall off. So till today, I've seen very nice presentations, very colorful ones, but I've never seen a tangible, accurate output for job creation. I've seen strategies, as I said, a lot of things. And yeah, governments should hold their horses on big numbers. We want 100 million people online. We want to serve 50 million tourists. Yeah, Ammi, how are you going to serve them? There's no one to serve the 50 million tourists. Go back. Step one. What's the base? What is the problem? How can we fix this? Is there an opportunity? Let's then put the KPIs. And yeah, that's it from me. Hope no one, I love governments, guys. I've supported over 6 governments in doing so. Allah atim al as we say, they've done a great job. But sometimes someone should speak on behalf of the communities and not the consultants, paid consultants or paid businesses. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing these points. I think it's very important also to have um, also different case studies. As you mentioned, we need to study to see who got successful, what was the example of Uber and Karim you mentioned. We need to analyze and see what works, what doesn't work, and then also go back to the communities, not to force them, but also listen to their voices and build what is necessary based on their needs. So having, I think, also a good skills and needs assessment of the players on the ground is a key element for make the digital transition a successful one. um, so and also I saw that you also addressed the question asked by Tarek about the jobs and how do we, and the importance of counting indirect direct jobs as well. I was also so I think this session was we have a lot of fruitful thoughts actually based on what we have discussed. I don't know if you, Ahmed, you want to have some concluding words um, before we close the session, and then I go back.
Yes, I think this session has has been really important to be part of, as for me on professional level, but also for our organization to get some good feedback. My suggestion is that the dialogue doesn't end here, and that we could create cycles of dialogue with the final suspect, the creator, the people on the ground, and try to really listen to what solutions they, because these creators we're talking to will have the proper technology, or will at least know what the technology is. So linking between the two and having a creative digital economy, a creative digital. I mean, we can make it a very long name, and with all the names, a creative, digital, sustainable, green economy. So let's get the players to actually get into that and see how we can really create a more sustainable future that has the decent jobs this region needs. I'll end it with a story, if I may, very quickly. And it's a personal story. I won't mention areas, so that is fine. Um, a brilliant fashion designer, a male, very young, who had brilliant ideas. We have him on catalogs, we have him in articles everywhere, right? Who in his own country didn't succeed to actually show this talent and put it on a platform. Yet he continues to to try. The conflict imposed on his country had him leave to another country. He became a citizen of another country. And then he wins a competition under another country with a different flag. That he comes and say, you know what? I give this to my home country and I give this to my now country. This is an example where we can have groups of these brilliant and talented people from all over the world. You don't have to be an immigrant to become a success story. You could still work together and you could still build stories and you can build successes. This is something that I believe the North to South plays very well too, and the South to South need to play very well too as well. So I take this session as an invite for continuous dialogue to advance everybody add the word you like. It's creative, digital, green, sustainable economy in the MENA region. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, I completely agree. And I think the point that you mentioned also about the brilliant talents that we have is one of the big assets that we have in the region is our youth population, which are very active and brilliant. As you said, we have a lot of talents, but we need to build a safe environment, as you correctly mentioned, for them to shine actually, and to fulfill their potential. Thank you so much. I don't know, Rola, you want to add some final conclusions to what Ahmed beautifully said?
Nothing, but I agree. And I think Ahmed is one of the most vital person who can say it and mean it with the location he's in. So God bless on that. And I think, we just need to have contingency plans for the craziness we're seeing in this world. As I said before, we were worried aliens will come and take us. We were worried of, asteroids. We used to watch these movies. But now it seems humans have been the most impactful on the world, negative or positive. I'm not, it's the both ways. And I think together, as Mr. Ahmed said, we can find a way, whether it's the green, sustainable, the colorful, the happy. It's us who can make it happen, guys. We shouldn't wait for anyone else to do it for us. So yeah, resilience is that word I want to add, Ahmed, to it. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. I think this is very well said. We need to make the future we are heading to a beautiful, more peaceful, more sustainable, and digital can be a tool to achieve that. We can use the wonderful powers digitalization give us to build the future we want. And then I think the first step is to think about it, design it the way we want it, and then have the right policies, have the right motivations, and the will to go through it. And of course, the challenges lying in front of us are very obvious, and I think we are all a bit scared of what is ahead of us. But I think we can. Creative industries, I think, is one of the pillars that can help us to move through these challenges, because creative industries are the way to bring people together, and that's what we need in these difficult times. I don't know, Ahmed, you managed to join.
I managed to join again. Maybe something to. I wouldn't have much to add. I absolutely agree. It's a matter of resilience. It's a matter of optimism, and also it's a matter of cooperation. We are living in disturbing but also exciting times when it comes specifically to technology and what's coming, and a lot of things that will happen will and all of the good things that will happen will definitely rely on creativity and how people are creative creative many ways, creative in their work, creative in the product and services they suggest, and also creative in the way they work all together, being cooperative and creating new ways to live all together in a hopefully green, peaceful, better world. So this is why I would say creative economy, creative industries, and creative work is something, one of the pillars of the what's going to happen in the next few years, I would say, because things are going definitely going fast, and hopefully they will be one of the solutions to the disturbing times we are living in right now.
Thank you so much. I think was the very nice words to end this session, with a note of optimism and having this positive note in the disturbing times actually we're heading in, and we are in actually, and that with positive energy and optimism we can move through this to a better world. Actually, so I see my colleague Maria is joined, and I think it's now a lunch break. I think we can close this session. Thank you all. It was a great honor to have you in this amazing session, and I think we have a lot that we can take on.
Thank you very much to all the panelists, to
Thank you,
Yeganeh for
everyone.
the moderation. I will just mention that we will come back at 2:30 as initially planned. So we have now around 50 minutes break. After the break at 2:30, we will start with the success stories or best practices session from the Southern Mediterranean. We have in total 12 success stories that we'll be presenting in 3 different rooms. The first one is on cultural entrepreneurship, and we have a digital application, Jido app. We have a music band, Meteor Airlines. We have a support structure, Kurt, and we have a comic company, a comic book company called Couscous Publishing House. Then in ecosystem enablement, we have Femina. We have Femina is an incubation program for DJs. We have Sun3 Tech, which is a Fab Lab. We have Tamer Institute for Community Education, an institute. And we have Smart Art from Palestine. And in the room for local and regional cooperation, we will have South Band Association for Theatrical Performance, which is an incubator for theater. From Jordan, we have Studio Madane, which is a youth collective working in Beirut to tackle some of the main challenges identified. We have Orslitz Tunisi from Tunisia, and we have the Creative Industry Summit, which is a summit that gathers creative actors from all around the MENA region. So I really invite you all to join us at 2:30 for this session. And after that, we will have the spin table sessions where different program managers, access to finance actors, different stakeholders that can offer opportunities for entrepreneurs will be presenting their programs, their opportunities, and there will also be the chance for you to engage in an exchange with them. You have all the details about the best practice that we'll be publishing, and also about the program managers that will be in the tables during the spin table sessions in the annual conference booklet, which is in the overall chat of the event, and also I'm sending it right now on the chat of this session. So you should have all the details there. Thank you very much. I hope you will have a good lunch, and see you in 50 minutes.
Bye. Bon appetit.